All right, so Eric, break it down for us here. Is a lot of information presented over the last hour about the soil testing and what the level one recommendations came back as. So just exactly what were those recommendations?
So the recommendations from the Phase 1 survey of Riverside Park was to wait for Waleco to complete their testing, and based on those results, determine if, should there be a recommendation of additional testing, or, communicate with the DNR and find out what their opinion is.
It seems like, though, the action, though, from the committee is going to be to maybe not exactly wait for Waleco, or kind of do the testing in, I don't want to say in tandem with Waleco, but to do additional testing into what they are going to do as well, because it seems like there's a lot of concern over what spots would be tested and how the variance could be from one spot to the next. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think the committee is convinced that Waleco, they're just really looking at the air deposition of their burning from past practices. They're not looking at the entire area, which is really, what the DNR has asked them to do. And the committee feels that based on the Department of Health recommendations, the Department of Health said if they had additional testing, they'd be able to make, just be a little more comfortable with their recommendations about no health risks. So I think that's really more of where the committee's at. And so what they want to see is somebody give them a recommendation on where the best places to test within Riverside Park would be, and then also what type of tests. So those are the two big questions: is where to test, and then what are we going to test for.
So kind of one of those meetings where we talked about this for over an hour here, and I mean, do you feel like we've maybe got more questions than we've got answers, or do you feel like this is going in a pretty good direction?
Well, I think it's going in a direction where there's going to be some conclusion. I think that there's always going to be a discrepancy on how many how many soil tests there should be. Should there be 4? Should there be 10? Should there be 20? But I think if we can get an environmental expert to tell us that these are the locations we could test, however many that is, and there's a rational explanation for them, I think the committee will move it forward, and hopefully we can get some testing results.
Because from the sounds of it, we are going to have another meeting on this here in the near future, correct? Another committee of the whole meeting.
Yeah, right. So what they had specifically asked was for me to bring back some recommendations from a consultant, which then they could make a determination, and have some feedback on.
Yeah, and I guess this would be kind of maybe preliminary, but do you have an idea then just exactly how many spots should be tested? I mean, is there a spot that you're comfortable with right now?
No, I mean, I think that there's some spots that I think just from a rational standpoint, should be tested if we're going to do some testing. Not that they're required, but it just seems like a rational thought process. So. And we'll really kind of lay out Riverside Park and see where those would be.
And anything else that we should know then from this meeting and from the information we've digested here over the last hour then?
Yeah, I think the one thing is that, we're going to get the recommendations. We're going to bring it back to the Park and Rec in July. From that point, it will have to go to finance. It will potentially have to go to council for approval for the additional money to do it. So we're probably looking at late summer, and then we'll have to go out to bid for the work. So we're thinking late summer, early fall before any testing is done.
So we could be up in a race against the clock then if this is going to get done in 2019 before the ground freezes. We could kind of be in a time crunch for that.
It could be as long as the committee makes decisions. In July, I think we'd be on track to get it done before.
But should emphasize too that in one way or another, this is testing that would be done in addition to what Waleco is going to be doing on their own, correct?
That is correct.
And then, so you would maybe just have to work in tandem with Waleco to say, you're testing these 6 spots, okay, we won't test those, we'll maybe test another 4 spots away from those, is that correct?
Right, yeah, we wouldn't test the same locations. We already pretty much know the locations that they're gonna test. So we would stay away from those, and then all the results then could be compiled.
All right, anything else we should know then before we let you go?
I don't think so.